this little beginning bit since we had to reset all the audio and all that jazz.
Yeah, but I think we're finally in a good audio location.
Yeah. Yep, and we can hear it still, so we're good. We are good.
Only took a hot second.
Yeah. Let me close all these archive streams I was watching so you don't accidentally start hearing those in the background. It'd be a bit awkward.
Like an echo.
Yeah.
I go to sleep by listening to my own podcast.
Actually, I can only fall asleep to the sound of my own voice, so I have to listen to myself. You been up to anything fun this week? You said it was your last bit of work.
Like I said, Friday was my last day of work at my internship. And then, Saturday I just kind of lounged about. Didn't do too much there. I hung out with friends. We played Risk well into the night.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And then today played a little bit of D&D. Then I'll get all packed up for college this coming week.
What a nerd. Still in college.
Well, okay.
Not only that, you got a full year left, you nerd.
Yeah, 2 semesters. I'm not quite there yet.
Nerd.
I can't even say I'm at the finish line.
Yep. You got a long
10
time.
months. Well, that's fine. You're going to be the nerd that comes up to visit me, and you'll be the graduated guy who's going back to college. So,
I'm going to be the supportive friend who's coming to visit his deadbeat friend who has not graduated from college yet.
Deadbeat. It's like going back to your old high school, right? You just can't do it.
I never did that. I mean, I think I did. I watched, because I was a marching band, so I watched them once, but...
Oh. I've gone back a couple times just to say hi to some teachers I liked.
I should have done that. But...
Still can?
No. Why would I do that?
You just said you wish you did.
Remember? Well, no, like, freshman year of college, like, 6 months after I had left. Because
you didn't form unbreakable bonds between you and your high school teachers?
No.
Wow. You're doing something wrong then. Oh, hey.
Did you?
I know a couple of them pretty well.
It's kind of weird, man.
What? No. We just had healthy relationships. It's a small school.
Yeah.
Like 300 students, so that probably helped. Class size was like 60, so.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was significantly larger.
So that I can understand.
I was over at Jonah. Oh, I already told you that. But we were talking about the Brady Bunch house, and he's like,
right.
He's like, we could all chip in together and like get a $2 million house. And I was like, wait, so let's just assume this is 5 years in the future, and we were like trying to predict everybody's future paychecks.
Right.
It didn't hit $1 million, so.
Also, I'm feeling that the chipping aid would not be of equal amounts.
No, it would not.
If I had to guess.
Well, because we were talking at dinner, we had a nice little date. We went out to dinner at Noodles and Company.
That's cute.
He had a BOGO coupon.
BOGO.
So we each paid like $3.80 for dinner. And then I had a coupon for free ice cream, so we went and got some Ben & Jerry's.
That is cute.
But apparently, like, airline pilots can make up to like $300K.
Really? That much?
Yeah.
Wow.
What did I say, Jonah? Did I not say Baskin Robbins?
You said Ben & Jerry's.
Oh, did I say Ben & Jerry's? It starts with B.
I was about to say Ben & Jerry's. That's some good ice cream. That's
Baskin Robbins is good too. It was Oreo Mudslide, which for some reason the base ice cream was coffee flavored, but it was still very good.
I had some red velvet ice cream that was really good.
Jonah, we both know they had 32 flavors and you just won't accept it.
I used to get the Superman flavor.
Oh, that is the worst flavor.
Yeah, but it's so colorful.
My sister used to get Superman ice cream from like Cold Stone, and she would get gummy bears put in.
Wow.
So they would turn into
rocks. Trash. If you're going to Cold Stone, that's a lot of money to be wasting on.
Yes.
Ice cream.
Yes. I cry every time.
Every time. Man,
So where are you living this time?
what at Purdue?
Yeah, because it's oh so different.
I mean, it's more north.
And it is a bit nicer, right? Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Oh, you better not say that on stream. You might
What?
somebody might dox you and come to show up at your door. I
Yeah,
love
what,
your
you mean Fiona?
podcast. Hey, we have how many viewers do we have? We have 3 viewers, 2 of which might be me. So you got to keep that professional front up.
Oh, yeah. Professional.
Yeah.
Can't even remember your ice cream places.
Yeah, sorry. You're the one
That's
that
okay.
had your audio outputting through your microphone.
Well, you know, that was a technical difficulty. Happens to all of us.
Oh, well, hold on. There might be somebody else knocking down your door. We're up to 5 now. Oh, yeah, don't give out personal details. I'm not sure we know
Oh,
that
no.
many people. Oh, wait. It's probably just Pratik is the third one. That's probably what it is.
Hey, don't give out personal details.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the users. Cooper Kaboom, Garq, Hockey Fox, and Protoswarm. Yep.
The boys.
Gamers, Cooper needs your help. Read out the back 3 digits on your credit card. Otherwise, he'll be stuck in college forever.
Please. I need money. I need to graduate.
You have money. Yeah,
It's
like
all going into a Roth IRA.
When?
It's like a retirement account.
Oh, I mean, that's smart.
I'm starting one tomorrow.
Oh, I'm getting some shade from Matt.
He's just mad because I'm fiscally responsible.
Well, remember, his dad's also an accountant, so he might know more than you.
I don't believe that.
You know, accountants generally know what they're talking about.
In what universe is a Roth IRA a good idea? Most universes. It's a very stable savings account. Post-tax, you get insurance or interest. Non-taxed insurance. Or not insurance, sorry, interest.
Thank you for coming to our new stream, Taxes and You, hosted by Sam and Cooper.
How did we get negative views?
Twitch is actually deleting our channel because
Goodbye.
no one wants to hear about this. All right.
I come to Twitch for all my financial advice.
Yeah. Oh, before we get into it, what do you think adding on an ending segment?
What do you mean?
So, like, I'm sure, like, every week there might be like one song that really like digs its nails into your head, you know, and you just listen to way more than you have any right to, right?
Right.
What if we share those and just be like, this is my hot song of the week or something?
Oh, just like outside the album?
Yeah, just a little bonus at the end.
You know what? I agree. Let's do that.
And I was thinking we should get an outro so we can have it up, and since we have the stream starting soon thing, we should have a stream is over, thanks for watching screen, and then maybe a little ditty. We don't have to talk, we can mute ourselves then, but
yeah, we could have a little extra check this song out.
Yeah, just
What would we call that segment?
I don't know. You got any ideas?
It'd have to be car related.
Spare tire.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, that's it. All right, let me let's bullshit for a second longer, and I'm gonna make a spare tire scene.
Slide.
Okay, maybe I'll do that later.
That's fine. We can just talk about it.
Yeah. I'll make a whole new slide and all that for it later. I like this. This is good. But I wrote the name down so we wouldn't forget. Oh, and before we start again, I should check. I think we got a comment on YouTube too. I wasn't going to respond to it on YouTube because it was just a guy asking us to check out his band, but I feel like it'd still be polite since we've done that for every other comment. All right, you ready to go?
Just about. One sec, I have to prove something to Matt.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's it.
I told this is not taxes and you.
I'm just saying it's a 2.5%. No, that's not it. Yeah, it's like a 2.5% interest of IRA rates. Tax free, Matt. Tax free. This is an investment.
Well,
So, anyway, let's talk about music instead of
you
taxes.
You can argue with him about that afterwards. All right.
What a silly Billy.
Hello and welcome to the Audio Shop podcast. I am one half of the hosts, Sam. I'm joined by
the other half of the hosts, Cooper.
And this week we are reviewing Time by Electric Light Orchestra. This was my suggestion. It's a whammy of an album. And if you haven't heard it, listen to this and then go listen to the album.
Yeah, Matt, Sam's a little bit of a ELO head, some might say.
Everyone might say.
I'd say most people would say.
But yeah, I'll jump right into the history then.
I'll give a little background.
So ELO, or that's the shorthand for Electric Light Orchestra, because we're not going to say Electric Light Orchestra every single time.
Every time.
It's ELO. And you got to be careful if you're requesting it from Siri or Alexa, because they will play Yellow by Coldplay. But ELO is a British rock band formed in 1970 by Jeff Lynne and Roy Wood. Say that 5 times fast. With drummer Bev Bevan. I didn't make that one up. That's his name. Roy Wood departed in 1972. And then from then on, Jeff Lynne arranged and produced practically every album, and still does to this day. Supposedly, just a little hot tip for you, ELO is going to be releasing a new album this year. That's just words through the grapevine.
I did not realize that.
On r/ELO Circle Jerk. But
the most reliable music fix.
Exactly. But Time was ELO's 9th studio album, and it was released on July 2nd, 1981. And this it's an album, man.
It is an album.
13 tracks. I'm not sure the runtime. I want to say like 45 minutes.
Just about 45.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got prologue, epilogue, it's the second ELO album to have that. The one prior to that was El Dorado, where they did the prologue and the epilogue. And they brought this back. So this is more of a experimental album than anything else. I would call it a classic, though it is one of their more unknown albums, I would say. The singles on it didn't do as well as singles from their other albums, mainly because it is a story album. And while, The Wall, which we did before, had their singles were, well, most of the songs on that felt like singles. While those singles did pretty well on their own, with this, the story is much more ingrained in the lyrics, I would say.
Yeah, but I think it's a little more, even compared to The Wall, this is less of a concept album. I mean, it's got this general story of time travel, but it's not super important.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
At least for a casual listener, such as myself.
And we'll get into what the story is in this album as we go. And Cooper will give you his hot take on it as a first-time listener. I've been listening to this album since I was a sophomore in high school, probably before then.
That was 20, 25 years ago?
Close to 30 years now. No.
Time flies.
That was
you were in high school when this album came out, yeah.
Yeah. No, I probably, what was it? Quick maths. I probably listened to it about 8 years at this point. So that this album's been on my playlist. So I was typing up the last few reviews of the songs because I could just play them in my head. I know them so well. So I'll let Cooper take it away with his impressions of the track 1 prologue.
Prologue, aptly named. It is quite the prologue. It's only like a minute long, but I think it sets up kind of like the theme of the album. So, as someone who's only listened to this a few times through recently, the general gist seems to be it's a time travel album. This guy from 1981 travels to the distant future of 2095, and this prologue seems like the actual event of time traveling. Starts with this like kind of beautiful synth organ played in the background, this robot kind of singing over the synth, then all these like future timey-wimey techie sounds as we ramp up, going right into the first actual song, like we're being shot through a wormhole or something.
Yeah, so the song starts with what I like to call electronic bubbles rising through water, is what it sounds like to me. Kind of like sounds bubbling up out of some kind of water, and it sounds like you're going into a dream, is what I would describe it as. And I might be a little bit affected by some of the lyrics because I've listened to this album for such a long time, but we'll get into the story in a bit. And who doesn't love a super bassy, distorted voice telling you that you might be going insane? Is
that what it was saying? It was hard to understand.
Yeah. So I have the lyrics up here. So sometimes it's a bit difficult to understand. So the lyrics for this, in case you couldn't pick up on it, are just on the border of your waking mind, there lies another time where darkness and light are one. And as you tread the halls of sanity, you feel so glad to be unable to go beyond. I have a message from another time. And this is all on kind of like, I want to say like a vocaphone, where the, not auto-tuned, but it's taking a voice and heavily distort. It's vocoder. That's what it is. It's really wobbly and bassy and hard to understand, but it really pushes you into the album, which starts off with the first real song, Twilight.
And it hits the ground running with this guy. Goes right into it. And Twilight's, I'd probably say it's probably the most famous song from this album. If I had to pick one.
I would disagree with you there, but we'll get to
that. But definitely kicks off very fast-paced energy with Jeff Lynne just really going at it right away. Got this really pulse-pounding drums, playful synth, this like beautiful orchestral music that, the Electric Light Orchestra is pretty well known for. It's just such a very, it's like 80s electronic at its best. Super high energy.
Yeah, I mean, this one launches in through the prologue into a banging bass and synth line. And as Jeff Lynne is the vocalist throughout the whole album, and he's kind of taken over the whole band since Roy left 2 years after it was made, and Jeff Lynne is still touring with it. So, but they put a slight echo onto the lyrics, which give it this kind of mystical depth to it. There's a piano solo in the middle. There's constantly strings in the background, high-pitched backing vocals. There's a fast-paced synth line. It breaks into harmonization. It's so dense. There's so much going on. It's really hard to like pick out a single thing and listen to it, just because there's a lot. And I mean, you can, and every time you listen to the song, there's something different to pick out. And this was, like I said, I've been listening to this album for a long time, and this was the first time I noticed there's, towards the end of the song, they have a nice little French horn line that comes in. Huh. And this song, I think, is one of the best examples of ELO in their prime, back when they were really focused on the orchestral and electronic mix, as opposed to more rock music as they do today. But this is top quality song, straight out of the front of the album. That's always good to see.
It really does hit the ground running. And beautiful, there's like these harmonies that are singing Twilight near the end, and they're like beautiful, like just rising like a sun. Mm-hmm. I know it's called Twilight, but it really does feel like you're driving to a sunrise more.
Yeah.
And there's also this really beautiful piano breakdown right in the middle of it. The song really does have it all. It's basically if like Blue Sky didn't exist, this would be like the definitive ELO song.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say I don't think this is their most well-known song off the album. That would be a later song called "Ticket to the Moon," which is
Okay,
way more
probably.
famous. This is a much more iconic song, I would agree, but "Ticket to the Moon" was just kind of very different paced for the album as a whole. But
That's true.
for this
Though
song,
you do get a little bit of that sadness here in this song. There's like
yeah,
a small breakdown near the end of the song before it really goes back into the energy. So that little sadness kind of creeps in itself.
yeah. So this is really the start to the story that we have. So basically, the whole story of the album focuses around this one guy, right? And this is the kind of initial thing. He's it's the early dawn, twilight. He doesn't know if he's awake or if he's dreaming. Night is day, twilight's gone away. It's either real or it's a dream. There's nothing that is in between. I only meant to stay a while. Somebody, you brought me here, but can you take me back? So like, he's been taken somewhere, and as we know from what we talked about before, he's taken to the future supposedly, but he doesn't know if it's real or it's a dream. And they kind of play off that for the whole album. And even Jeff Lynne he never like definitively said, "Oh yeah, it's a dream," or "Oh yeah, it was real." It was, I honestly, I don't know. I just kind of wrote the album.
Fair enough.
That's what he said in an interview. But it kind of plays back and forth of you thinking that, oh, it's real, or oh, he's dreaming. So, interesting take to start off.
Yeah, I did notice it kind of had that dichotomy of like it's kind of almost like a Alice in Wonderland type situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much was real? How much was a dream? Though times it definitely sounds like he's just really sad about being in the future.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So jump into track number 3 then. Yours truly, 2095.
Yeah, so this is the year it's been transported to, from 1981 to 2095.
Mm-hmm.
What, 114 years in the future?
Give or take.
Yeah, and I mean, we're getting closer to 2095. We're only like 70 years away from that.
I don't think they're going to have the things that he was talking about in this song, sadly.
Yeah, this song's actually a little funny. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be, but this is probably the most futuristic sounding song in the album.
I agree.
Like the vocals are a little distorted with this like almost like electricity type distortion.
Very eerie.
The synth is very synthy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to describe it besides like
synth.
Besides, yeah, it's like that pure raw 80s synth sound. That like blinded by science, kind of very scientific, electric, futuristic synth. It's pretty much a song about a guy meeting with, I guess, some sort of robotic woman.
Gynoid.
A gynoid?
Yeah.
Is that actually what they're called?
Let me make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm pretty sure. I'll get back to you on that while you keep going.
They're called gynoids? Like a gynecologist?
Let me. Like I said, I want to make sure I might have missed a pronunciation.
Well, anyways, it's basically saying how she's basically like a lady of the night, but she's also like a robot who's like an IBM and a phone, which is kind of hilarious.
Yes, gynoid. Gynoid.
Oh, well.
A fembot, a feminine humanoid robot.
Wow. Yeah, so apparently you can make phone calls with her. Because they don't have cell phones in the future. They just use ladies. And it also, it definitely makes it appear that after maybe the spark of the future with Twilight kind of wears off as he realizes, I'm not sure if I quite like these robotic ladies. This doesn't feel like real love,
Yeah, so I'll say what I'll say and then counter everything you said wrong there, Cooper.
Oh.
So this is a much more of a rocking song than Twilight. Twilight was kind of more grand, operatic kind of thing, and this is more a rock introduction. The style jumps all over the course of this album, but it all works pretty well. I love all the little bleeps and bloops to add the depth to the song. they constantly have some distorted vocal lines throughout. Kind of, there's one of the bass lines is saying 2095 through the synth. Like we said before, Jeff has a bit that vocal filter going on, which makes him a bit airy and electronic almost, making it seem like a very futuristic song. And as you were saying, Cooper, she is not a lady of the night.
Oh, is she not?
She's just an android that happens to look like the girlfriend that the main character left behind.
Oh.
So he's extremely... Imagine you get teleported 150 years into the future and you meet someone that looks exactly like me. That would jar you a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Especially if you were a phone.
Yeah. So that's kind of what he's going through, except that it's a romantic relationship. So he's got misplaced romantic feelings.
For this robot.
Right. As the lyrics say, she's only programmed to be very nice, but she's as cold as ice whenever I get too near. So she's not meant to be Lady of the Night robot, if you will.
Okay. Been watching too much Blade Runner.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still a very good song. Even besides the lyrics, it's a little more low key than Twilight. Definitely more rock and synth heavy. But I think this is the one to emphasize. This is a futuristic album, right? Besides just the lyrics, just the instrumentation really sells like far future, the distant year of 2095.
Very heavily leaning on the synth in that one.
Oh, you think we'll be alive in 2095, Sam?
I don't know. I want to say I hope so, but
we'd be like 100.
Global warming is going to be pretty bad by then, so maybe not.
Well. Oh, that's depressing.
On that note, jumping to another depressing song.
Well, if the Earth just is warming up, we'll just take a ticket to the moon.
Huh. Nice segue.
Thank you.
So
you get song number 4 is called "Ticket to the Moon."
So this one really brings it down from 2095, because 2095 is a real hard rockin', take no prisoners kind of song. Ticket to the Moon starts off with a very soft piano line and brings it into, I want to say it's acoustic guitar, but I don't think it is. I think it's a muted electronic guitar.
Yeah, but it's made to sound acoustic.
Right. And it's very, it's haunting kind of to say. And this is absolutely the most famous song on the album, I would say.
Okay. I can definitely see why. It's definitely even outside the context of the album, this is definitely a song that's emphasizing loneliness and kind of this feeling that you're kind of alone in the universe.
Well, funny that you say that, because that was the 2015 album by ELO, Alone in the Universe,
which is somehow even sadder.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this one's got a very good. Jeff Lynne's voice really shines here, when paired just kind of with vocals and later piano, vocals, piano, and I think there's some violins that come in as well to add that oomph. And yeah, it's definitely a very sad song about him. I mean, it's a metaphor, but it's also in the course of the story, from the sound of him literally buying a ticket to go to the moon.
It's just
wondering if we'll ever return to the Earth again.
Right.
It's very much he's an 80s kid, right?
Yeah.
He misses the 80s.
Well, he does come back, because immediately in the next one he talks about the old street that he lived on and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But, I like this one a lot, not only because I find it hard to criticize ELO just because of how long I've been listening to them, and their music has absolutely shaped everything I look for in music today. But when they really bring it down and there's no singing and it's just kind of the bass line, they throw in some conductors and very heavily distorted vocals of somebody who is either in an airport or a train station, as if they were going to take a ride to the moon, and you hear people calling, and it's just kind of distorted white noise of a place of travel underneath all of that, so it doesn't feel too empty when it just drops back to the bass. And the lyrics, I will say, they do get a bit repetitive, but they're extremely emotional, and so they don't overstay their welcome at all.
Yeah, the chorus adds a lot of emotion.
Yes.
It really thunders in.
It's so dense. There's so much going on.
This one actually not really. This one's a little more stripped back.
Yeah, it is. But the chorus.
The chorus is good. Also, the chorus kind of reminds me of Foreigner, the band. It has a very
I can kind of see that, I guess.
Specifically Cold as Ice, in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the way the vocals are portrayed.
Yeah.
Not that it's a ripoff, it just was reminiscent of kind of some mellower rock music.
Yeah. So going into the story a bit, just so we kind of keep this going at the end of every song, he bought a ticket to the moon. It's a real Sad Boy Hours song.
It is Sad Boy Hours.
I'll be rising high above the earth so soon, and the tears I cry might turn into the rain that gently fall upon your window. You'll never know. Super sad. And it's basically him like, can I ever get, is whatever brought me here capable of taking me home? And then there's one line here that we're going to bring back up probably about 20 minutes in a later song that I'm going to throw a little bit of fan theory out at you.
Oh, we're getting speculative.
The last line before they just start repeating Ticket to the Moon over and over and over again is that flight leaves here today from Satellite 2. Now that's an important little bit that we'll get to later.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'll tuck that away.
Wait with bated breath.
I am.
Jumping to track number 5 then. Oh, hold on. I had it highlighted in my other window so I could copy and paste it, but when I hit the 5, it just deleted it. Track number 5, The Way Life's Meant to Be.
Yeah, this one's instrumentally is pretty interesting. Just because it has it's got like a lot of, at least for me, I saw a lot of different influences in the song. It's strumming guitar, kind of almost, I feel, has like almost a Spanish kind of beachy vibe influence.
I wrote the exact same thing. Almost a bit of a Spanish influence, I wrote.
And it's going to be weird, and correct me if you don't hear this, but does the chorus not sound a little bit like Margaritaville? Like the song?
I mean, I can kind of get where you're coming from because the acoustic and the click-clack of whatever the heck those things are, but no.
I'm getting a little bit of a Margaritaville vibe, but it kind of has that kind of, I don't know, pseudo-Spanish vibe to it.
Yeah, I think that's where you're getting it from, because I definitely picked up on the Spanish influence as well.
Which is interesting, but yeah, it's got a very beachy vibe. It's got this nice little guitar solo. It keeps the sad lyrics, I noticed, even though the actual instrumentation is a little more upbeat.
Oh, that's true for all Yellow songs.
Yeah,
that's a majority of their songs.
Mr. Blue Sky's happy.
Yeah, that's one of the exceptions.
One exception.
There's some exceptions.
I thought this was a nice little song. It's definitely a different compared to what's going on so far. It kind of doesn't have too much of a. All the ones in the past, I feel, are a little more futuristic. This one kind of breaks away from that.
Yeah. Stylistically, throughout the album, each song is pretty different. I mean, it all sounds like ELO, but like 2095 was pretty, really futuristic synth kind of stuff, and then Ticket to the Moon was almost acoustic and piano, and then this is, like we were saying, kind of a bit of a Spanish influence, but it doesn't feel out of place. It kind of flows into each song. Yeah, I mean, it's a good song. I didn't pick up as much on the musical style of this one. I was a bit more trying to figure out what I thought the plot was. And I was saying the main character is lamenting the fact that he has been sent to the future, wondering if he'll be stuck there forever. This one is definitely more of a story song, I would say.
Okay.
It's basically he goes back to where he left his girlfriend. We're assuming they live together. He goes back to his street, and he's like, everybody here's a stranger. but I guess I'm the stranger because they've all lived here for the past 100 years or whatever.
Right.
Uh,
This guy doesn't handle change super well.
well, he got
Is a big takeaway.
he got picked up and whisked into 140 years in the future, Cooper.
Yeah.
It's everything. Imagine if you just woke up one day and your entire street was replaced with ivory towers and plastic flowers. Wouldn't you wish you were just back in 1981?
Well, no, because I wouldn't have been born then.
But basically, it's him coming to terms, like, he knew he loved her, but he's like, how much he wishes he was back just to see her instead of all this crap. He realizes how much he means, or she means to him.
Aw.
So
you don't know what
him wondering if he's ever gonna get home.
Yeah, that makes sense. That seems to be the majority of this album. That's what I meant when I said it's kind of there's a story, but it's not as important since it's like that's the major plot point happens.
Yeah.
But I do like this song. It's a cute little ditty. And I like the ooh la las that also happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a side point, but I just like it when songs do that.
Jump into track number 6 then. Another Heart Breaks.
Another Heart Breaks. This feels like a interlude.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to put it.
This is
pretty much a purely instrumental song.
I mean, there's like end of side A to put it in perspective.
Oh, okay, then that makes sense. Yeah, it's got this like kind of repetitive double note synth just repeating the background, kind of like a heartbeat almost.
Mm-hmm.
Very hypnotizing, and the only thing that's really playing is kind of this like distorted guitar, kind of strumming lazily.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think the only vocals are like another heart breaks, and they enter like twice and then quickly go away. So it's almost a purely instrumental song.
Don't forget the counting.
Yes, there's also counting. But besides that, yeah, it's just like this kind of it's kind of like ginger and sushi, you know? You eat it to cleanse the palate, right? Get you ready for the next side. But it almost feels like the emotion I got is like almost like wandering a street alone at night, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of being alone.
Yeah, so this one is, like we said, doesn't have any lyrics at all. But I imagine it's, in terms of the plot of the song, I'm harking on the plot a lot because this is, I think they wrote a book to go along with this album as well. Or somebody wrote a book. But I imagine it's this guy having a depressive episode about being yanked away from his life to the tune of some rockin' synth lines. It's got a little bit of the reverb on it too, which makes everything stick around a little bit longer, which kind of gives it a bit of depth. And around the 2:45 mark, the guitar kind of comes up. It's like faded out, and it fades in. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Right before the counting starts, and it really changes it up quite a bit and keeps it. It is a bit of a repetitive song, but that little switch around there,
intentionally repetitive.
Yeah.
Though.
It's the end of the A side, so it kind of gives you time to get over to the thing and flip it. Because this is
the getting out of your chair music.
Sure, let's say that.
Time to flip the record.
Yeah, but this is end of the A side. Not to say that this is the last good song on the album, though. Jumping to track number 7, "Rain is Falling."
Rain is falling. And it has what may be Sam's Achilles heel when it comes to music, which is weather effects.
But Cooper, the question
in
is,
the background,
where do you think that Achilles heel came from?
Probably from this album.
It would be this
from
album.
ELO in general.
It would be this album. Although
ironic, this is the source.
ELO does have quite a few Rain songs.
But yeah, this one starts. It's called "Rain is Falling," so it appropriately starts with the sound of thunder in the background. And this angelic singing, or maybe it's like a mixture between like synth and like vocals. Before like Lynn comes in with some synth and piano. The song sounded very shiny. I think is the best way to put it. Has this acoustic guitar and this very ascending like synth. And while the vocals are a little more subdued, I know it had I felt a little more upbeat. compared to what we were having compared to like Another Heart Breaks.
Yeah, it's definitely not a sad boy hours, but like Cooper said, this is my rainy day song. Like anytime it starts rain, like when I was just in college and I'd be walking to class in the rain, and I'd be walking and it would start raining. I would open my umbrella and this would be the first song I'd slap on my playlist. It is a fantastic song, and not enough songs use rain and thunder in their music. But not to mention the bass boosted piano. Like who does that?
Basement. They did have that, yeah.
And it's great. And the strings and acoustic guitar before the vocals come in. They're constantly having harmony or layering them and coming in, and they drop out for the chorus, giving it that bit more of a lonely vibe. So whenever it hits the chorus, it's just a single track of Lynn's voice singing, accompanied by a twinkling piano line that sounds like falling rain. That's what they're going for there. And then again, this track makes the use of the voices hidden in the synthesizer track, and brings back the rain at the end. Top marks for that.
Top marks. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. I didn't have as much to say about it than as opposed to the others. It felt a little more subdued compared to some of the other ones. Like it didn't quite commit to the high energy that Twilight and Yours Truly 2095 had. It wasn't quite sad boy like Another Heart Breaks and Take It to the Moon. But it was a nice mellow song.
Yeah. And
I think mellow is the best word for it. Shiny and mellow.
Yeah, I wouldn't say shiny so much since it's about a rainy day, but
I mean like the synth is shiny, the way it kind of ascends.
Going to the plot of this song, it's basically him saying, "I'm so lonely." It's like 1,000 rivers running past my door, standing alone on an island, looking for someone upon the shore. Blah, blah, blah. And then we get to the important line. With their brand new time transporter, they'll think I may be fought to get away. But with all their great inventions and all their good intentions, here I stay. So basically he's saying there have been people that have tried to help me, and who knows how long it's been.
Since he's gone to the future.
Yeah, forgot to mention in The Way Life's Meant to Be, up to that point, it's been a day. The first line in that song is, though it's only been a day since I've been away. So by this point, who knows how long he's been here. From this point on, it's kind of like it feels progressively further and further he's spending time here. And the fact they've invented a time transporter to attempt to help him indicates
he can't get back.
Probably been here for a while.
At least the people in the future are nice. They're trying to help.
Yeah. And they have good intentions, but he can't go home. Jump into track number 8 then. From the End of the World.
End of the World. Yeah, so this guy, I enjoyed it. It's very spacey.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very interstellar song. And when I say interstellar, I'm not talking like Christopher Nolan Interstellar. I'm talking like 80s Interstellar, so like a funky space, right? Where it's got this really fast-paced backbeat. And the vocal presentation on this one's pretty interesting. I don't know quite how to describe it. Maybe you can help me here, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
But the vocals don't sound like a typical Jeff Lynne performance. It's almost like he's trying to copy a different style or perform differently here.
Yeah, the way I described it was anything but the... I don't know. It shifts back and forth between like a very whispery lyrical line, like he's whispering to someone.
Yeah.
And then it breaks out into someone kind of shouting into the mic from far away like this.
Like a rocker.
Right. But it's not loud. It's pretty quiet still. Or it's in the same volume. It's just a very different singing style.
You know what this song kind of reminded me of?
What?
kind of like those 1950s like serials. So like they came from space. Because that's that like kind of faux spooky ass like synth like thing going
Yeah.
on, like a very classic, like classic horror, sci-fi horror vibe sound. So it's almost retro. Even in 1980, it sounded kind of retro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really adds to the spaciness of it. And it's got a pretty tasty bass line too. I haven't been noticing too many bass lines on this album, but this one had a pretty dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 going on, which kind of added to its retro aesthetic, I think.
Yeah. So, and it goes out on that rock and synth with, it seems like applause that gets kind of distorted.
I put that down too. It starts sounding like applause. I then like kind of crispens up, like it was actually synth all along,
Or it was rain or something.
Yeah, it's kind of jarring. Where you're like, what am I listening to?
Yeah. But the plot for this one, this is another pretty plot heavy song. This is pardon me. He basically is desperate to contact we'll say his girlfriend that he left in the past. So he hands her a letter in his dream. So he sent a dream to you last night from the end of the world. That's the catch line. I saw you last night, but you couldn't answer. You were a lonely little sidewalk dancer. I don't know why he dreamed of his girlfriend as a sidewalk dancer, but it rhymes. When I woke up, I could not stand it. You were gone, but I got to hand the letter to you. And he's like, "Oh, if this was a game, I wish someone would win." He's reaching his wit's end at this point. Basically, going from attempting to get the help of the people in 2095 or whoever knows what year it is now that he's here to send him home to, I'll just send her a letter in my dreams, I guess. Nothing else has worked.
Which is interesting because you said this might be him actually going to the future or him actually dreaming it all. So I guess he's dreaming within a dream.
Right. It's up for interpretation whether or not you think that he's dreaming or he actually went. So that's that one. Jumping into track number 9 then. The lights go down.
Lights go down in the city.
No.
As the sun shines on the bay.
Not that song.
Oh, no, yeah.
Different song.
Yeah, this one has it's definitely a change of pace.
You want to lean back from the mic
going
a tiny bit, Cooper? You got a bit loud there.
Oh, sorry. I said it's definitely a change of pace. Where it's got this lazy kind of summer strumming vibe going on. It's a very laid back song. Yeah, it's got some nice melodies and harmonies, but it's an odd duck in this album. Like even Rain is Falling, which kind of had a different vibe to it. Kind of still fit in, but I don't know, something about The Lights Go Down just felt like it didn't belong in this album, like instrumental wise.
I will say it definitely more of a focus on the vocal performance in this one than anything else. Just how stripped back it is. It's got the simplistic guitar again with the harmonization of the vocals, but it doesn't have all the other stuff going for it like it did in Ticket to the Moon. Very simplistic, kind of Jeff showing off a bit of his range, his low to high, that kind of thing. And yeah, not much to say about this one, just how stripped back it is again. And the plot for this one, what I said, is I always got the impression of this was him attempting to stay faithful to his girlfriend in the past, despite the fact that he will never see her, might never see her again. But the looking at the lyrics, which I know I should have done this sooner, but the lyrics, reading them, I know that a way that I feel is wrong, but I got to carry on when you ain't around. That's kind of what gave me that feeling. but you look later on, and it's I know you're waiting so close to me, but how will you ever see as time rolls away? It gives me the impression that he's living in the house that they used to live in together, and going about his daily life, or not daily life, but when he goes to bed, he would turn around and expect to see her there,
but she's not.
She's not.
So
it kind of gives off that mixed bag of, I'm not sure what it's going for in this one, just due to the
it's this one's kind of muddled.
Yeah.
I think the theme of this one's muddled.
Yeah.
Also, I guess the character arc of this guy is like the same as Captain America.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's sad about not being in the past.
The loosest sense. Sure.
I'm just saying. ELO made the Marvel Cinematic Universe possible. Is what I'm saying.
I'll jump on that bandwagon. Jumping to track number 10 then.
Oh, and one last thing from Let's Go Down.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was like pointing out at the classic fade ending.
Yeah. 1981 or 1980s.
That's what they did.
Yep.
But we can go on.
Jumping to track number 10. Here is the news.
Here is the news.
So this one is literally just a news broadcast. Love the opening. It's got the very distinctive 3 synth notes, which are played throughout the song. And it's supposed to just be a news broadcast from 2095 or whatever year. Like we said, we don't know how many years this guy has been here by this point. So it's just kind of the news. And in the first break of the lyrics, they add in some fake news reports to kind of give it that feel, and make you think, like talking about 10 Euro technicians were held today for holding up to pastichers, stuff like that. So that later on, when they play a bunch of stuff layered, you will assume it's the same thing, where actually it's from the Dutch radio broadcasting channel VPRO. That's like their little opening thing where they have a bunch of, the clips of news flying past you, and they're all saying things, and they just put that underneath the background in their music. And you would think that it was the future news broadcast, but really it was just them not having to write out all these theoretical news stories.
Because I wonder where those came from.
Yeah, so the first one they have is space workers dispute in London today. A lightning strike by air shuttle officers led to over 2,000 passengers being held up for up to 10 hours. So stuff like that.
Man. Yeah, this one I actually really like the instrumentation on. It's got some bumping synth.
Mm-hmm.
This one's got, I don't think the album's been as high energy since Twilight, really. And yeah, like I said, they, like you were talking about, they had those new samples over the chorus. He's actually like singing over the new samples at the same time, which I think is an interesting effect, because usually in songs like these, right, it's like, oh, song, sing, instrumental break, add in like the news vocals or whatever, the news segment, is when he's actually like singing over them, like they're occurring at the same time.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting. And it's also got a pretty nice breakdown in the middle there, with some like these harmonies that come out, and then a synth comes roaring back in.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like this song. Whenever
I listen to this song, I usually listen to these in the car because I can't not sing along to these with how well I know them. But the opening twinkling kind of lines before it jumps into the real bass, you're listening, and there's a brief few seconds of silence before that first synth line. I always crank the volume way up, so those first 3 synth notes are super loud, and then you turn it back down because the volume naturally goes up from there. But it's always a great song to rock out to. And looking at the lyrics here, as we're going back to the plot again, this is the song I told you to remember that Satellite 2 quote from. But I just noticed here, he's kind of, this, not only is it the news, but there's also a bit from the main character, because in one of the sections of the chorus is they do here is the news, and then I want to go home, I want my baby back, and then it in the background it has I want to go back. So it's kind of him watching the news, and he's having a breakdown to the depressing news stories.
Oh
But
goodness.
right after that is
And
here is the news. Someone has broken out of Satellite 2. Look very carefully, it may be you. So then this brings in, all right, well, okay, so is he dreaming? Did he actually go to the future, or is he an escaped insane asylum person? Because what is Satellite 2? Somebody's broken out of Satellite 2? What's Satellite 2?
What is
Earlier on in the
Satellite 2?
song, it mentions in one of the little quotes, 10 Euro technicians were today sentenced by the justice computer to be banished for life to the prison Satellite Penal 1. So what's Satellite 2? So it kind of brings in another layer of, well, what the heck is this? What the heck is this story? Is it a dream? Is it really happening? Is he is he a crazy person?
A crazy person who also happens to live in the future?
Or is it the case of 2 rhymes with you, and
And they just weren't thinking that much into it.
They forgot that they already used Satellite 2 as a spaceport in Ticket to the Moon, which is quite possible. Might be reading a bit too heavily into that.
Maybe, but I mean, it is just deliberately a story album.
True. So you would hope. So I'm going to say that there's a third option. He might be insane. I'll tell you what I think at the end. But
ooh, bated breath. I'll tell you what I think now. I think it's a good album.
Yeah.
But
jump into track number 11 then, if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 11. 21st Century Man. This one's another sad boy song, but I think it's got a nice leaf motif, right? This one kind of, if anything, this is almost like the song of the album, because it's got a synth that sounds a lot like a prologue, and then the epilogue, which is the last song of the album, closes off with 21st Century Man.
Right.
So this is like kind of like, I guess, the central song, if you had to pick one. It's got a very grandiose sound. This one feels like an ending song, like it's reading some sort of emotional climax. And definitely, just from what I heard from the lyrics, just kind of on a cursory glance, it was basically about him continuing the theme of I should be happy about the future, but he is still sad about 1981, about what he's missing out. And basically, this is a very classic ELO song, right? With that great mix of guitar, synth, and orchestra, like in such a balance that only ELO can do. And yeah, it definitely also proves that Jeff Lynne, he's got some pipes. He can do some pretty good singing.
I mean, this is much more. I think I wrote this here. This is very much the old ELO style of singing. It used to be super high pitch, like
yes.
Not quite Bee Gees level, but pretty dang close. That was the old style, and they would bring it down for a couple of them. But Jeff Lynne can sing pretty dang high, which is why I enjoy listening to the newer stuff a lot, because I can actually hit those notes for the newer stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely dropped a couple octaves recently.
Yes, this one is very, very high pitch, and it's very solemn again. As you were saying, I feel like this should be the last song, kind of, because it does go into the epilogue. Almost identically, and like you were saying, he should be happy he's in the future. You still wander the fields of your sorrow, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's this. To continue on that point about this should be in the last song. Yeah, if they kind of went like from this into the epilogue, it makes sense. But then there's a song between it, which isn't bad, but placement's kind of baffling.
Yeah, I definitely think the next song should have been before this, but we'll get to that.
But that's digress.
Going to the plot then, basically it's you kind of hit the nail on the head with, though you ride on the wheels of tomorrow, you still wander the fields of your sorrow. Like, why are you so sad? What will it bring being sorry or being so sad? Like, you're not being productive at all. And then there's a thing though in verse 3. It kind of gives some finality to it, because it's you stepped out of a dream believing everything was gone. Return with what you've learned. They'll kiss the ground you walk upon. So that almost makes it seem like you woke up, right?
You know, like he's had a like he knows of the future, and now he's back in the past.
Right, and then right after that, things ain't how you thought they were. Nothing you have planned, or nothing have you planned. So pick up your penny in your suitcase. You're not a 21st century man.
Right.
So basically saying you're not there anymore now. Which
Right.
the ending of this is I think the order could be a bit better to kind of tie things up neatly.
I think so too. Also, while you're talking about that, kind of remind me. This is also kind of the plot to Samurai Jack.
Except Samurai Jack actually was in the future.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this one, but it's debatable.
Yeah, and there was an entity that he was fighting against too. So
Yeah, it's true. This guy was just fighting against his own depression.
yeah. Jumping to track number 12, then. Hold On Tight.
Hold on tight. And like I said, this one's a little bit baffling because so it comes after. So this is the next song. It comes after 21st Century Man, which is a very grandiose kind of feels like an ender, like a closer. And then we decide the second to last song is a sock hop song. This is like very very classic rock, like a throwback song. It's not bad by any point by any means, but I don't know. It's a weird placement for such a differently themed song.
Yeah. And you say that, but this was actually the first single released from the album.
Wow, if I heard this and then went to Time, I would not be expecting this album.
Yep. But this was the first single released, and it arguably was the most not the what am I saying? Arguably was the largest hit song of the time.
Really? Who? Nah, I guess I don't get 1980s music.
Of the singles, it was the most popular.
What were the other singles?
Twilight, which was released. So the first single, Hold On Tight, was released July 17th, 1981. Twilight was released October 10th, 1981.
Okay.
And Ticket to the Moon / Here's the News. So I'm thinking actually that might give a little bit more clout to my guess about the insanity. Those were released December 11th, 1981. Rain is Falling, January 1982. The Way Life's Meant to Be, March 1982. Which is odd that these were released as singles after the release of the album.
Huh. Well, bands sometimes do that.
Yeah.
Just to get a little more sales out of them. But yeah, that's an interesting. Yeah, this like I said, the song isn't bad, but it's like almost a sock hop song.
Yeah.
It's a very different vibe from the rest of the album, and they speak French on it at some point.
Yes.
At least I think it's French.
It is French.
I don't speak French. Okay.
They repeat the chorus in French.
Okay, so it's the same words. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this song. It's just I think it's an interest. It feels like a single that they made. They're like, well, we gotta put it on an album, so I guess we'll just throw it onto this concept album about time travel that we're making.
Well, you say that, but the lyrics, it's a long time to be gone. Time just rolls on and on. When you need a shoulder to cry on, when you get so sick of trying, just hold on tight to your dream. So that is kind of going along with the this might be a dream thing. And the lyrics in French are the same opening lyrics as the opening, which is hold on tight to your dream, hold on tight to your dream. When you see your ship go sailing, when you feel your heart is breaking, hold on tight to your dream. That's what they say in French.
Okay.
It's a very good song. I understand why it was one of the more popular singles.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely more of a party song. Even if it's still kind of, the actual lyrics are a bit depressing.
Yeah, they're less depressing than the other songs.
That's true,
sure.
But it's when you get sick of trying in life, hold on to your dreams.
That's all you got left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like the French. Not many songs do that. Where they
I'm not sure why they went French, but I mean, I think it adds to it.
Yeah. And then we go into the final track, track 13, Epilogue.
Epilogue. Rather fitting, given the first track on this album was a prologue. Which, much like it really does parallel prologue, it's only like a minute and a half long. It basically is a little bit of prologue mixed with a little bit of 21st Century Man. Makes the album kind of feel like it's gone full circle. And it also ends with some spacey kind of time travel. So maybe he's going back to 1981. Maybe that's what that's signifying. I don't know too much about the story, but that's kind of what I got.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of lyrics in this one, as we said. It's kind of 21st Century Man extended edition. And there's a quote in it, and he arrives on this day of all days, may the world still remember him. I thought that was from... There's more. This lyric site doesn't have all of it, because it definitely has a quote from The Day the Earth Stood Still. Because I'm pretty sure when the Earth stood still is the final line before they just repeat time forever. So I think the final quote is from The Day the Earth Stood Still, but I'm not sure. So basically, this is the finality of it all. I'm sorry, I'm reading. There's one contributor on this lyrics page I'm on. He's stuck in 2095 until he dies. He should be happy, but instead is unwilling, which is definitely not what the album suggests. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, I don't think he dies.
Well, no, it's the dude is saying that he's stuck there, which definitely is not what it's implied. But oh well. Yeah. So that's the final track of the album.
Yeah, it comes full circle.
However, there are 3 bonus tracks, which I am now going to shotgun out, which Cooper hasn't listened to.
Ooh.
Because they are extremely important, I believe, to the album.
Well, I wish I would have known about them then.
Not only are they amazing songs, but they're also they've got quite a bit of story in them too. So the first bonus track is called The Bouncer. This is more along the lines of sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there for a second. This one is more along the lines of Twilight, much more harder hitting, a lot slower. So it's basically him talking to his long dead girlfriend again. It's
okay.
Do you remember you said to me that you would wait for me eternally? I've been wondering, I've been hoping you're still the same, only you can say, I'll be so glad to be back with you. I'll do anything you want me to. Very good song. And then the second verse is, I see the light shine in my window, and I know I am coming home. And as the light grows ever brighter, I see your face, you're all alone. And when I tell you all the things that I've seen, you'll say, darling, you must have been dreaming. And then that's what I want. So he's technically not there yet.
Sounds like it.
Believe me, baby, when I say I wish I'd never been away. So it's basically him really, really wishing to be back home still. Because the end of the album wasn't the end of the album, because there's 3 whole bonus tracks.
Wow. Well, that definitely...
Yeah.
That's onto the story.
Yeah, and it's also a very, very good song. Got some really hard-hitting bass, which you were looking for before.
I'll have to listen to it later.
Yeah, some synth. Very good. And then second bonus track is When Time Stood Still. Now, this one I have not listened to in quite a while, so I forget it. Basically, it's him being lonely still is the plot. I can't speak for the music because it has been a long time, because Bouncer and Julie Don't Live Here Anymore are some of my favorite songs on the album. But this one I think is more of a filler bonus song.
Okay.
but still got some good stuff in it. And then Julie Don't Live Here Anymore is more of a pop song, kind of. It's still got heavy rock influence, still got a lot of synth, but it's much more in line with some of their later work where they get a bit more poppy. It's basically him wandering around where he used to be, or where he used to live, where his girlfriend used to live, and it's him being like, she doesn't live here anymore. How can it be? I can't believe it.
It's not just like the plot to The Way Life's Meant to Be.
Well, it's very, very different
Part
style.
2. Okay.
Last night, and I guess this one makes me think everything took place in the course of a day, because the line is, last night I saw your face in the window. So that implies it's been a day for the entire album.
Right.
So Julie Don't Live Here Anymore. She moved away many years before. How can it be? I just can't believe. That kind of thing. So then that's the end. That's the true end of the album.
Huh. Well, interesting.
So what do you think, Cooper? Do you think he went home?
I like to think he did. I like to think he made it. At least just based on what I heard with the epilogue. I like to think he was sent back.
Yeah, I mean
to the time he wanted to be.
It's real sad boy hours for the whole album, but I need to stop saying that.
It's a funny phrase.
It is. It's like ironically saying like yeet, or when you dabbed when you sneezed. You just conditioned yourself.
You just keep doing it.
I agree. I believe that he was actually sent to the future, and then he goes home. Because I'm sucker for happy endings.
I like a happy ending.
And this album is way too depressing for it not to have a happy ending.
Have a happy ending.
So
just to make things a little nicer.
Exactly. So do you wanna give your favorite and least favorite songs?
Yeah, I think we can start into the ratings.
Since we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes almost at this point, we still have.
Oh yeah.
I've been a bit rambly this time. Sorry.
Oh, you have a lot to say.
I'm very passionate about this album.
You really like Yellow, so I don't blame you. Yeah, so I'd say probably my favorite track on this album has to be Twilight.
Good choice.
It's a great song. It paired with the prologue, like going into Twilight by itself is fine, but if you start with a prologue and you go into Twilight, that's a nice ramp up. It's like a takeoff, like a rocket. I just think it's some of the best. Basically a showcase of all of ELO's strengths going on there, right? The Electric Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the name. And it's high energy. It's got some great vocals. It's got great electronica. I don't know. It's everything you want in a ELO 80s song. And then probably my least favorite song on the flip side is probably The Lights Go Down. Just because it's kind of laid back and kind of boring. And its vibe just doesn't really mush well with the rest of the album, which is for the most part pretty watertight with its vibe. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, for that reason, that's probably my least favorite there.
It's just kind of sinking in. I was like, oh crap, I have to choose a least favorite song now.
Yeah, one of them has to be.
Well, I'll start with favorite. Oh God, this is hard.
It's like choosing one of your kids.
Yeah. Well, no, that's easy. Because there's always going to be one that's the least jerky.
What, your children?
Yeah.
Oh, but not the song. That's tough.
No, it's harder to choose a favorite song off this album than it is to choose a favorite child.
Wow.
And I can speak from experience. I have, little Timmy and all those other kids. No.
Timmy and the others.
Yeah. No. I'm going to say it's either Twilight or Here's the News. Those are both really, really good songs. And I'll seek those out to listen to alone. I'm gonna do three-way actually. I'm gonna throw in Rain Is Falling, because that one I've pulled out to listen to alone a lot too.
Okay.
But Here's the News and Rain Is Falling I definitely listen to a lot. Twilight is just Twilight with the prologue always sends chills, gives me goosebumps down my spine.
Goose pimples.
Ticket to the Moon is extremely good as well, but
yes,
I don't seek out to listen to it. Sometimes I do, but it's not like I don't listen to those kind of slower songs a lot, Oh, least favorite, dear Lord. Yeah, I'll do Lights Go Down too. I think I've even skipped it when I listened through the album in the past. It's a good song, don't get me wrong. It's just compared to the other songs, it's not as good.
It's a bit weaker.
Yeah. You wanna? I'll go over the. Do you want to go over the rating system since I've been hogging the airspace this whole time?
Yeah, I'll get stretch the vocal cords. So as you can see on the screen, we got a bit of a rating system. Think of it as a 1 to 5. There 1 being scrapyard, that's at bottom of the barrel. That's the garbo, the stuff we want to trash. And showroom is the tip top stuff. Just sorry, I just saw the comment that I didn't know I was. They said they didn't know I was in the podcast.
Yeah, I've been a bit talky this time.
Oh, it's like if this was a TV show, this would be like your solo episode, right?
Yeah,
where you got the character development.
Because I've had none till now.
And then so showroom's the best. This is gonna be good stuff. And for my rating, I would like to give it a like new.
Oh, I didn't even have to change it. Dang it. Okay.
Yes, solid 4 out of 5. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect album. I think it kind of sometimes straddles the line between wanting to be a concept album and then also just kind of wanting to have some singles that don't really fit into it that much. Looking specifically at Hold On Tight and The Lights Go Down. But I think this is a good ELO. Maybe not their best album, but certainly near the best of their albums. And I think the concept of a time travel album is woefully underutilized. It's not like a lot of albums are doing this now or have ever done it. And the core concept of kind of tying it all together in this kind of electronical symphony and journey, I think, is very interesting and well worth the price of admission.
This is going to be a bit controversial for my rating, but I'm going to rate it showroom, and I added a bunch of plus signs to that because there's probably not going to be an album I'm ever going to rate higher than this. I am blind to its flaws, and I'm okay with that. I absolutely love this album. This will be the hill I die upon. Listen to this album to get the best of ELO. Sure, it might suffer from a bit of putting songs in the wrong spot, but as a whole, it's got a great story, even better songs. Listen to it. Do it right after this. It's perfect. It's the perfect album.
Definitely worth the listen through.
The perfect album. Fight me.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's the best ELO album.
Perfect.
But I think it's
the best.
I definitely think it's something that you should listen to. And I think actually Time is rather slept on by even ELO fans. As far as I can tell, everyone wants to say Out of the Blue, right, is the best one just because everyone likes Mr. Blue Sky. But I think it's...
Yeah, they don't even play it in their live concerts.
They always El Dorado.
There's
Time is well worth it.
Yeah, there's some threads on ELO Soccer Jerk about this. They'd probably get on me for this because usually this is a meme album, but I love it. It's the best.
Yes, even without the blind nostalgia that Sam has, I can verify that it is a worthwhile album.
Just imagine hearing Twilight live.
Ah, Lord.
That would be
wish.
Amazing.
With the light shining.
Oh. I can only get sidetracked.
Oh, Lord. Let's get PG here.
Sorry. All right. You want to... I'll introduce this next little segment then.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about it.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So let me just hide all this stuff real quick because this is... I'll have a new screen for this later. But we're going to do a whole new segment right now that we were talking about before. You might have heard it. I can't find the dang album. And we're going to call it The Spare Tire.
The Spare Tire segment.
So basically what this is going to be is we look at let me type this real quick. I can't type and talk at the same time. Basically, it's what song we've been listening to on top of all this other stuff for most this week, or something we discovered that we really enjoyed, or something along those lines. So just kind of a little bonus track for you to go and check out. I mean,
Yeah, it's our bonus track.
yeah, exactly. Our little bonus thing. So you want to go first, Coop? You got something you've been listening to a ton this week other than this album?
Yeah. I'll just throw out a little song that I think people should check out, a little band as well. If you get the chance and you're into some pretty good 80s music, this album came out in 1982, so a little bit right after time. Listen to the song I Like It by DeBarge. They are a 80s group. Have a very sweet talking, think Earth, Wind, and Fire. Think that kind of musical vibe.
Okay.
And I Like It is an extremely cute song about liking the things his woman does and how they make him feel special.
Oh.
And it puts me in the good boy moves. We're not sad boy here. We're happy boy with I Like It.
Yeah.
So check out I Like It by DeBarge, and it will make you feel happy. Plus, the guy hits some high notes. It is impressive.
And just quickly, I completely forgot to do this earlier, even though I approved it. We got a comment on the Milo X Loto VOD.
Ooh.
Just wanted to shout him out. Sam Gifford and the Innocent. He is kind of just advertising himself, so I'm not going to read that out. But if you heard his name, you probably caught the band name. He's just praising the podcast and asking us to check out the band and let us know what he thinks. So maybe
check him out in the future.
I'm very bad at doing that kind of thing. So, but I will listen to the song you just suggested, Cooper, after we finish this. And for my little bonus track, I actually have two, since we didn't record for 2 weeks. Again, Cooper. So my first one is called Rockstar 21, and it was suggested to me by Spotify. Let me look up the. Apparently there's a Post Malone song called Rockstar featuring 21 Savage, which is the first thing that comes up when I search this.
Yes.
Actually, you can't really find it. Oh my God. You can't.
Wow.
You can't find.
That's how deep it is.
So you got to go. Okay, to find this song, let me explain that first. You got to go on Spotify, and then you got to search Rockstar 21, and then it's kind of got a vaporwave cover, but it is electronic, of course, and it takes the I think it's the 50th anniversary cattle call competition in Texas. And it takes one of the guys and puts him over some rock and electro music. So it's a cattle call electro music. And I sent it to Cooper, and I can't remember exactly what you said.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that one. It was along the lines of, I hate it, but I love it.
It's definitely unique.
And then that was last week.
Although a bit memey.
I'm probably going to listen to that one again after this too. And then this week, that actually made me lose sleep with how much it was. This one was a real earworm, so be careful. Aaron Smith, Dancin', the Chrono remix.
Dancin'.
It's been a bit of a meme song too. What is it? Peace and Tranquility with the Hat in Time. The dancing. They put that. It's a bit of an old meme at this point, but I just discovered the song. Very good. Again, kind of electro, extremely earwormy. I want to listen to it again, but I'm worried because actually, like 2 nights ago, I lost sleep because it would not stop playing in my head. So
wow,
quite an
that's
earworm.
Like a curse.
Yeah,
and a blessing.
I would watch one of the meme videos because the song's same, and you can get some entertainment at the same time. But yeah, that's our spare tires. Bit of odd for a car with 3 spares, but next week it should probably only be 2.
Yeah. No, we'll cut down on the fat,
and hopefully we'll actually have a stream next Sunday, Cooper.
I believe I'll be up for it. I'll be moving back to college that That's spring, or that's next week. That's spring.
Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't realize spring was starting so soon. Skipping
Yeah, no,
winter
they
as
actually
well.
moved it up this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving back to college.
Well, we'll have to choose an album a bit quicker this time.
Yeah, and we will. And you can always find out what album we're going to listen to at on Twitter at AudioShop14. We always post what album we're going to listen to the next week, in a very timely manner.
Yeah, if Cooper gets on it, sometimes he doesn't. It seems like everybody's saying you're lying, Cooper. Are you not taking care of the Twitter?
No, I posted.
What'd you post?
I posted about time.
When?
Good 2 days ago.
We discussed this like a week ago.
I did post it before.
All right. And then if you actually want to suggest an album, if you go to if you're listening to this in the VODs, hello. We usually do this live Sundays at 8ish Eastern time. If you go to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv. We don't have that fancy URL yet. But if you search Audio Shop on Twitch, you'll find us. You can actually suggest an album. Milo X Loto was actually a suggestion from our very own Protoswarm. And we should probably give those guys moderatorship in the chat, just because that's what you do for friends. And then also, if you want to check out the VODs, if you're watching this live and you like what you hear and want to check out some of our other stuff, check us out on YouTube, Audio Shop. And we're also on SoundCloud, but we can only upload 3 shows. So we have some of the more popular ones up there. And you can find us there at spotify.audioshop, I think. Search Audio Shop on Spotify. I don't think we have any fancy URLs. You have to pay for that kind of thing.
Yeah, no. You're keeping it DIY.
Yeah, exactly. Someday, maybe, probably not. Well, thanks for listening.
All right, well, yeah, I think that's about it. So hope you guys tune in again next week,
where we will be listening to be determined.
To be determined. Good album.
Yeah. Catch you later, shoppies.
Have a good night.
Enjoy your week.